So, first thing you might notice in this stream is that I finally found a way to lift the volume of my microphone a little bit. It was maxed out before and it always sounded really quiet, so I had to also make the music quiet. But I finally found a way to amplify it, so that's good. I tried some recordings and I think it will sound fine. I was actually going to get a new microphone, but I'll see long term. This might just do the trick. So this is the rough sketch with both colors and just the sketch itself of a commission of a Dragon Ball original character that someone sent me, and yeah, I'm going to turn this rough sketch into a less rough sketch and finally into final art, like it's 3 steps, which is how I prefer to do it. This original sketch is what I send the person before charging them, just to be sure that I got the idea right, that this is the composition that they were looking for. So yeah, now we're going to do something more detailed. I think this is enough zoom. So it's basically these 2 characters. That other one's going to be very vague, and they're in a train, which I'm going to do as a painted background. Not super detailed, that's not really how I do. Like, I don't really focus on backgrounds that much. I make them kind of painted and vague, but it should do the job. But I won't do like super minute line work on backgrounds, just not how I work. Like, I could do it, I actually think it's pretty fun just drawing geometrical stuff, but it's very time consuming versus, you know, how much people would even have an interest in it. We got some Chrono Trigger music, basically just because of the Toriyama connection. I was actually somewhat inspired by Chrono Trigger art when it came to the color scheme that I'm going for. There's a lot of artwork in Chrono Trigger that's very sepia based. All the colors still pop out, but the general tone of the image is mostly sepia. This head's kinda tricky. It's angled up as well as to the side, so I want to make sure that I got it right. For visual style, I'm not going in 100% Dragon Ball. That wasn't the request. There's just going to be some influence. really is one of the best video game soundtracks ever, probably. So basically what I did to the microphone is just amplifies the volume of everything. It's a very brute force solution. And weirdly, in the levels on OBS, it shows just the resting volume of the microphone when I'm not speaking, as about as loud as the music is, but noise cancellation seems to be pretty good at just getting rid of that. I made some tests and you really don't hear that much noise. The few noise there was, the music seemed to be covering up pretty nicely. So yeah, tell me if it sounds weird. I'm going to take a look at the VOD after the stream, but you guys can also tell me if it sounds off in any way. So yeah, what I'm doing right now is really just going over this very loose sketch that I made and making sure that it makes geometric anatomical sense, and to draw an actually like a little structured character and make sure that she works. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the sketch, just when you move on to the final art you want to have more references for the anatomy, so you know what you're doing. The crossed arms, I think I'll have to mess a little bit with. It was actually a late addition. I originally did not have her arms crossed, but the person who commissioned it requested this change, so I did it kind of fast. And crossed arms are kind of tricky to make sure that they make sense. There's actually kind of a funny thing where Toriyama didn't seem to know how crossed arms work. A lot of his work, like characters cross their arms fairly frequently, but it was always weirdly symmetrical, where he's drawn like this, where both the hands were tucked in behind the arms, And I've never seen anybody cross their arms like that. It's actually pretty difficult. Usually one of the hands is going to be outside, but both of the hands were tucked behind the arms in a very weird way. It's weird that he drew that pose fairly often, and it was pretty much always, as far as I saw, looked like that. I think her shoulders look weirdly not relaxed for someone who's asleep. They should be further down. So I'm going to have to answer a message here real quick. Just answering something. It's from my other job. I keep talking about how it can be a little bit difficult to stream reliably because I can always have to do something from my other job. I try to, when I'm pretty sure I'm free, then I go stream, but sometimes something's going to pop up. But that was it. Should be fine now. Sorry about the little interruption. I just draw the arms as tubes until I know what I'm doing, because I'm kind of shortening the arms in general. I feel like they were a bit long. And then this hand can be here. Does that look right? This seems a bit off, too long. Should end about here. There isn't quite enough room for it to be behind her arm. Maybe I can make just her fingers tucked in, like this. So it's more relaxed, yeah, I guess. Now some cleanup, so it's more readable. Get rid of the lines that are behind the main lines. Boop, boop. Yeah. Alright, I think that's a decent sketch. Yeah, now I can do her biceps. biceps here, elbow. There you go. Then she's got big gloves. Should help a little bit here. All right. Yeah, I think that looks about right. If I put this here just at a low saturation. Just to remind me a little bit of the composition. Could also just be color. Just kind of trying to make this less boring to look at while I'm working on it. Let's see. These should be higher. Hello, what's up, Oleg? It's working on a commission here. It's a Dragon Ball OC. Oh, I forgot to change the theme. I think that says what I'm working on. Dragon Ball OC. Yeah, you might notice that my voice is a little bit louder. I found a thing to increase my volume, so hopefully this time you guys don't have to raise the volume manually entering the stream. Does it sound okay? Chrono Cross music, is it? I thought I had put just a Chrono Trigger. Maybe they mixed it in. The title says just Chrono Trigger. But yeah, how are you doing? I have the volume to max like always. Weird, don't I sound louder at all? I can increase it even more. I can do this and this. How about now? Did that make a lot of difference? Does it sound bad now? Oh, good louder. Alright. This was it's reaching the red now, and I thought I was supposed not to, but if it sounds better, okay. That's odd, because when I was doing sound tests, the way I was before was already pretty noticeably louder than before. Yeah, I found a thing to just boost the microphone audio, where it just, you know, adds decibels to everything. It doesn't really increase the sensibility of my mic, it just gets the mic input and makes it forcibly loud. So yeah, hopefully this doesn't mean there's like noise. But noise suppression seems to work pretty well. Okay, I'm looking at the levels right now, and just the background level of my mic, like when I'm not talking, shows that the levels as higher than the average volume of the music. So if you can't hear that, it's just because noise suppression is doing a good job, because I had it cranked up to a really stupid level. Let's ask someone when they enter, because my setup might be working different. Maybe, but I don't really see why it would be different to you than to anyone else. But alright. Yeah, I can also watch the VOD later to see how it works on Twitch, because before I was just recording to my PC and listening to it, and it seemed better. But yeah. So I'm doing the second sketch for this thing. I do a really rough sketch, which you can see how rough it is from the guy on the left. And then I do one that's a bit more detailed, but it's still not the final one. For the legs here, I think even the first sketch is already looking pretty good. Just making the anatomy a little bit more clear. Wanna become famous? Buy followers, primes and viewers on bigfollows.com. Thanks. But nah, I'm good. I really like how it's looking, thanks. Yeah, I think it's going to look pretty good. I'm making it like a whole scene. It's going to be a nice background and hopefully nice colors. But yeah, as usual on the weekend I've been working on some more like stuff for my media presence, where I'm putting all my art gradually onto what's it called? ArtStation. Clouding your day, yeah, pretty relaxing. My sleep schedule is completely off. During the weekend I was sleeping at 3 AM and I couldn't really regulate it today, so I woke up pretty late today. Let's try to get that more under control now. But yeah, I'm uploading all my art to ArtStation because it's a really good place to just keep your portfolio. Like, I'm not trying to make like, I don't expect anybody to find me there, so I'm not putting tags on anything. I'm not worrying about upload schedules. I'm just like posting a bunch of stuff every day, just to have like a place for people to browse my galleries. And yeah, I found this microphone solution. I'm working on commission stuff where I'm going to have more tiers, more different types of commission. The hope being that I'll get. Basically, I'm creating a color sketch tier of commission. I found my current job on ArtStation. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I put it there like that I'm open to, not like a full-time thing because I already have like a day job that's not art, but to contract work, which I've done very little of. But yeah, so I'm creating the color sketch thing because I'm so much faster at drawing color sketch and I enjoy it so much more that I'm just going to make it as a much cheaper alternative to full art. Basically, full art is going to get way more expensive, and color sketch is going to be less expensive than full art currently is, to kind of push people towards that, because then I can do a lot more work. I can improve more because I'm, finishing more full pieces. I can have more content for my social media because I'll do more work in less time. That's the plan. I'm also separating cartoony and detailed art as two separate tiers. So there's sketch, color sketch, and full art. All of them are going to be separated into a detailed and a cartoony tier, because also cartoony stuff is like more simplified, has less lines and details and all that. It's faster, so it's fairer to people who commission that kind of stuff, that they should pay less. It takes less time as well. So yeah, these should be better, fairer prices for commissions. Then I'm just going to put that on ArtStation. I used to want to keep it simple so I could fit it in like a Twitter post. It could just be my pinned tweet, could have my prices. But now I'm just basically going to make an ad as a Twitter post that says some of the prices, but just have it linked to like a full ArtStation page with lots and lots of like detailed prices. I'll be right back. Guys, need attention? No? Go ahead. But yeah, so I've been working on that kind of stuff. Oop, no, wrong button. Is this one? Yeah. So now really just the hair left. Oh, and the mouth. Left the mouth for last because it's going to be really off center and I didn't want it to mess me up for the other stuff. Get the eyebrows a little bit more symmetrical. Okay, I'm back. What's up? So yeah, I've been getting that kind of stuff done. I've been basically kind of rebooting my online presence a little bit, changing like my main gallery place to be ArtStation, I'm changing my little avatars, I'm changing my commission styles. It's kind of giving the whole thing an overall. Overhaul? I think it's overhaul, the pronunciation. So yeah, for the hair now. Again, I think the sketch is kind of fine. But sometimes when you have a dirtier drawing or something, kind of looks harmonious, but then when you make it into clean lines, you realize it didn't really work. So it's confirming that. I'm still not sure how I'm going to do the line work for this one. I'm kind of thinking, since it's kind of based on animation, that I might just do like pure black lines. It's also good for stuff like her hair. Just gonna make it look like an anime screenshot, basically. So about this, but maybe I'll make this more like this. Then I can make it interact a little bit more with the bench. Just make it visibly hanging down from it. Yep, alright. I think the coolest design in Dragon Ball is the announcer with shades. Nobody knows his name, but everybody knows him. So it's like the blonde guy with like the what's it called? Like I think his hair looks kind of like this, and he has kind of a long face. I don't really like. I'm not going to be able to draw him like at the top of my head, but I think it looks something like this. Maybe he's getting much of this. It just looks like Johnny Bravo now with a weird chin. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember his general design. Yeah, Toriyama has some really good designs, but they were very repetitive. He kept reusing elements over and over and over. But the elements that he had were very good. He's a very good character designer and world designer. Not a very good writer. Really should have worked with people more. I really don't get the manga thing where it always has to be like one guy doing everything. Like Toriyama could do like a few set pieces or stuff, you know, like work on the concept of the general story, but I think it could be much better served having someone else writing plot and characters, really. Because also, even with plot and with set pieces, he had like a few really good ideas, but then it became clear that that was it, and he just repeated them a lot. So especially Dragon Ball Z just this loop of the same things happening over and over and over. Like a character becomes way stronger than everyone else and then just completely owns the other character. But then the guy comes back from training and now he's way stronger than the other guy, but then the other guy does a transformation, now he's way stronger. Like he just got caught in this loop of like a few satisfying moments, generally consisting of someone completely owning the other character, and he just kept kind of reusing them forever. I'm wondering how abstracted I should make her mouth. I'm thinking this looks okay. His chapters cover artworks are amazing. I don't know the name of those kinds of pieces. Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like the little square thing on the front of the manga volumes. Yes, they are very, very good. And it's kind of a shame how much fun he seemed to have with a lot of those different works. It was like the characters in kind of street clothes, riding a car or something. He used like have some cool mechanical stuff, and it looked really, really good. And then the show itself or the manga itself were just like people in baggy clothes floating in the middle of a wasteland, just throwing balls of energy at each other. Like it was so visually boring after a while. Like even though his designs are good, like all the sagas look the same. Just like buff dudes in the middle of nowhere. I really don't know what happened between Dragon Ball, which of course in the manga there isn't like a division, but like it's around the switch between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, where it just got so much less fun. Like there was no journey, there was no world anymore, it was just fighting dudes. It was just all about characters getting their number bigger than the other character's number. It's what I said, like he would benefit from a writer because like he has some good moments, but he kind of wrote himself into a corner with just kind of the rules of the world around the time they started talking about ki and measuring ki and stuff. No, actually it's before that, but anyway. He just dealt with being good at fighting in a way that, like, if it was a video game, everybody would just have one stat that goes up, and that stat makes you stronger, faster, more resistant, and capable of using like stronger energy attacks. So like there was no difference ever. Like when a character was stronger than the others, he would never get hit by them, and even if he did, it wouldn't hurt him ever. Like, and so it was just a complete beatdown from whoever had more ki. And ki was this thing that you could just grind for in really boring ways. Just kind of work out on high gravity, or just spend some time in the room where you train and your ki gets bigger, or you eat something or someone does a magic thing on you where your ki gets bigger, and it's just this one number going up. Even when they stop measuring, it's still basically the same thing. It's just, okay, they are stronger now, it means they're better in every way. At that point I wonder if he's enjoying what he does. Seems like he's just doing mindless battle scenes because the manga industry works that way. Kind of, I don't know. I don't pretend to like get what Toriyama is going for, because I really feel like his mind works so much different from like anything that I can imagine. He makes such weird decisions. But by the Buu saga, it kind of felt like he hated Dragon Ball. That I could be completely off about that. I think like I probably am, but it kind of felt like he hated Dragon Ball. Like he didn't care about it at all, and he thought it was really stupid and pointless. With the way he hypes up some stuff and then just ends it in completely anticlimactic ways. Like it's kind of like he's mocking you for even getting invested on like, oh, the more powerful guy or whatever. Oh, he's going to get that sword that's super cool, and it can cut the toughest material in the universe or whatever, and then the sword just breaks and they never use it. Or Gohan becomes like, oh, he's the strongest in the universe, he has all the power of Mystic, whatever, and then he just gets swallowed in a dumb way. It's like he was actively undermining what Dragon Ball had become, where it's all about hype, as it was used to be more of an action comedy than anything else. By that point, it has really lost its sense of humor. It seemed like the only sense of humor left was like kind of mocking people for even caring about the power level stuff. I don't know. It almost came across as a little like bitter about what it had become. Because like earlier, like very early in the Buu saga, in my opinion, is one of the best parts of Dragon Ball. The whole Saiyaman thing. Like that's fun. He was really rebooting what Dragon Ball was and doing kind of a Sentai superhero parody thing. That could have been fun in its own way, but probably the editors didn't want anything to do with that because they ended it really quick and just brought it back to being like earlier Dragon Ball Z. Maybe head next a little thick based on the references I'm looking at. All right. Oop. Alrighty. today I could finally receive my diploma from at my university. I graduated in 2020, but COVID happened. Yikes. Yeah. It took a very long time. Yeah, my, what's it called, my graduate, I think, diploma didn't take too long. But then I got a master's, and that took forever to arrive. But yeah, I'm sure you had some kind of certificate that basically served as it while you were waiting. Because I know a lot of the people who, like my colleagues in the masters, requested that because they wanted for some kind of thing that you needed a master's to apply for, so they just got a certificate while they waited. So she has like little short sleeve things, and under that there's like the tights, which also go up to her neck. Boop boop. Alrighty. Yeah, I could just pay $5 for a digital copy. It's weird that they charge for that at all, but okay. But yeah, congrats, man. I don't know if you also don't have to say it in public and all that. But I don't know, did you study something related to arts, or is it like me where you kind of have two different careers going on? I'm still kind of doing my futile attempts to not dox myself too much, that I still haven't said what I work on, but yeah. Kinda study graphic design, but now I work as an illustrator. Yeah, it's not completely off, not nearly as far off as mine. That's cool. I mean, it's something where you can do both in very similar ways, like parallel to each other. And there's some crossover, at least in like the software that you work on. Like I know there's a completely different discipline. People sometimes ask me to do like graphic design stuff, and I'm like, I'm not really a graphic designer. Like that is it's a whole, like it's its own thing, which I've never done much of. But like, I guess I can still, just because I know how to mess with like image programs and stuff, and know color theory, like basic stuff. Like I'm slightly more qualified than the average person, but not really the same thing. It's not really this long, her banks. Yeah. Kind of a slow day today. That's kind of odd. Logging in the same time as always. But, you know, you can never tell on the internets what's going to work out. But again, ever since I got affiliate, doesn't really matter much anymore. Sorry. my average viewers could go down to 0.1 and I wouldn't lose anything. There's always the command root bot on my streams. Commander root, really? That's a bot? I've gotten bots, but I don't think I have like regulars. But sometimes they say some weird stuff, like the guy earlier on, like UC Wrestling 910 wanted me to like buy viewers when we become famous, buy followers, primes and viewers on bigfollows.com. What's the point of... I don't really get it. Maybe like if you have bots, then it will push you up a little bit more, like you will look successful, so actual people will start watching. Because like views from bots not going to make you any money. Like I get they could like see ads, but surely you'll be paying more for the bots than you'll make from ads. I found out on Reddit that a lot of people were getting that one. The one Commander Root or mine about like buying followers. Commander Root is everywhere. What the heck? Oh, I did that like forever ago. Okay. There you go. Well, both. I didn't really know. And what does Commander Root say and do? Is it trying to scam you too, or is it just like a fake person? Because I got a couple that I'm pretty sure were bots. Like it was like common man name 4 digits and common woman name 4 digits, both with the same color. Kinda showed up at around the same time on my stream and just said real generic stuff. And like, but it doesn't do anything. So what's the point? I don't get it. What's the point of making a bot that doesn't even try to scam people? Like I get that one that's trying to like get me to buy viewers for some reason. But you know, I would give them money. Don't really get the point of making a bot. Maybe it's just like a nice person who just wants people to feel, you know, like they're getting more views than they really are, and just raise their self-esteem. I don't really get it. Well, I don't really mind the bots, like they wanna raise my viewer count. Again, I don't have that much incentive to raise my viewer count anymore, but it's not hurting either. At the end, it's useless because if there's no interaction, they stop counting as a viewer. Really? Same thing with buying followers on social media. What you mean? Like if someone only watches your stream and doesn't interact, it doesn't count as a viewer? Or does it not count as a viewer for the purposes of like ad revenue and stuff? Although that will also make a lot of sense because people who don't interact still see ads. Now I'm thinking her face is really tall. She has kind of a shorter face in the references. I might just squish her a little bit. Let me try it out. Oops, I totally forgot what I was doing. It's supposed to be... I think I can do it here, and here, and then here. Oh no, the ears are out. There you go. Alright. It's kinda giving her a shorter head. Not sure about this. Because they wouldn't be watching only you, but multiple streamers at once. And at that point it registers the user as not watcher. Okay, so it's not because they're not interacting so much, it's because they just have like a million windows open. Alright, that makes more sense. Okay. So yeah, I think I just do the skirt, not really a skirt, the bottom part of her tunic. And we'll be all set. Just check something real quick. Alrighty. I'm kind of divided now whether I should do what's slightly more responsible, which would be to do the man's refined sketch and then come back to do her final art, because then I get more of a fresh look. But that's kinda boring, because then I'll have to just do a bunch of final art all in a row. Or whether I should like spread it out, which is less mind-numbing, but then I'd go straight from her sketch to her final art, and that's a little riskier in terms of it not looking so good. I think I'll do the responsible thing and just suffer. So yeah, all done with her sketch. His is even more undetailed, so. So yeah, kinda not even sure what to talk about. I'm currently working in with a terrible setup. Meaning your computer's bad? What's going on? Is it like just your computer is bad, or are you not working on your main computer? Like my computer has some years on it right now, and I never really upgraded it, but it still works fine for me. Like, this kind of technology has gotten to a point where there really isn't that much, like how much improvement happens every year is like, it's less and less basically. Like, used to be the computer from 5 years before the computer was much more of a leap. But I'm really not lacking in that much. And even like PC games come out and they're not asking for that much more. Like, feel like they've been asking for like 8 gigs of RAM forever. They really don't have that much need for more. My brother went to another country for vacation, so I went to check his pets for the time being, and I'm using an old one. Oh, okay. You're like at his house with an older computer. I get it. My girlfriend was recently, like, she visits family twice a year. Then I had to take care of her cats, but she currently lives 3 blocks away from me, so I just walk there once a day and give them food and water, and they were all set. I tried to spend some time with them, but I didn't need to every day. The cool thing is, I'm finally able to play Persona 5. I have completed within 10 days though. He has a PS3 and or 4. Yeah, I might just emulate Persona 5 soon. I am told my computer is good enough to emulate the PS3 in real time. It does it for the Wii U, which is pretty similar. Like, that runs at 60 FPS. And like, Persona is an RPG, so even if I drop frames every now and then, wouldn't really be the end of the world. So I might just do it at some point. Just there are so many games that I just bought legally and haven't played yet that I'm kind of holding back on P5. Oh, I had to go to the capital city. Yeah? Did you like forget something that you needed to do? Or did you have to go to the capital city to stay with the pets? Because it's a different city. You weren't really living there. Yeah, that's okay. No, no, there's a lot of dedication. It's very nice of you. What pets are we talking about? Cats, dogs, both? Like with my girlfriend it was pretty easy because it was just cats, and cats just kinda... they don't require that much attention like dogs would go kinda crazy by themselves. Yeah, cats. Okay, cats are low maintenance. At least. Like you can just leave enough food for a whole day and they'll eat them. Yeah, two cats, same thing as my girlfriend. You can just leave them enough food for a day and they will eat the food at a reasonable pace, right? Most dogs, if you give them enough food for a day, they will eat it immediately, like all of it, and then go hungry. Because they have like zero impulse control when it comes to food. Like I know that some dogs are like educated to know how to ration food, but I think you need to teach them that, because no dog that I've had has ever been rational about food. I actually used to have labs and like Labrador retrievers, and it is sad, I'm not sure if that's true, that if you just put a crap ton of food in front of a lab, there's a risk of like dog food, there's a risk that they'll just eat so much of it that it will completely fill their stomachs, and then as it absorbs moisture in the stomachs and becomes like bigger, it inflates, it can actually like rupture their stomach and you have to like send them to the hospital because they're just that crazy about food and just can't portion control. Currently I have a Jack Russell Terrier, and she just eats so fast, like she's desperate for food even though she's kinda chubby, like she's certainly not going hungry. She eats so fast she just kinda chokes half the time. Like she eats like an anime character, you know, where they just immediately eat the whole bowl of food and then start coughing. That's basically it. It's completely... like she has never gone hungry in her life, but she's always afraid of starving. My cat and dog are pretty easy to take care. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, like I really like dogs, but they're generally more needy, right? They also need more attention. They kind of go crazy if you just leave them on their own. Cats, you know, they get needy. You can tell when you go back, but you know, it's not that bad. They can just kind of live by themselves if they have everything they need. My brother's got a very special quotes. On elaborate in what way are they special? I think I'm going to keep this guy pretty simplified. because he's not actually meant to like draw your attention too much. It's pretty easy to spot the main character here. So I'm going to keep him very neutral and not give him that many facial features. Yeah, I think that's good. Even if they have double the portion of food, they ate it at once. Oh yeah, that's kind of a problem. Yeah, that's like a dog. They need to have the window to the balcony open, even if they're not outside. Why? Like, they like complain about it being closed and kind of scratch at it, because cats can be like that. They're annoyed at closed doors and such. My girlfriend's cats weren't allowed outside while she was traveling because we were afraid they'd just not go back home without her there. So they complained a lot, but I had to ignore it. Yeah, they just complain a lot. Yeah, there are some cats like that. So I have a friend who it used to be at his house that we played D&D campaign, and his cat's just evil in general. So it would be constantly like destroying our things. Like I'd bring my bag with my stuff over and it would just be scratching at it constantly. So we just locked him in a room and we'd be there, you know, playing D&D. So it's a long sessions, like 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. It would be locked in another room and it would just scratch the door constantly for like 3 or 4 hours without resting or stopping. It's kind of felt like that scene in The Shining with the axe. It was pretty relentless. But one of them have the tendency to go to other apartments, so I had to sleep with one eye open. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. No, there's a lot of dedication. I'd just go over there once a day and change the sand. Like clean their sand, change it once a week, change their food and water and all that, and I'd spend some time with them just so they didn't feel too lonely whenever I could, like every other day, but nowhere near the level of like work. Oh god. So yeah, here's our generic salaryman. I'm going to give him a little bit of a mullet. Just to differentiate him, not making it totally generic. Oh, that's another thing. One of them has the habit to start running after it poops. So sometimes there are random pieces of poop in their house. Oh no. So yeah, they're quite special, but they're adorable. I love them. Yikes, that's a lot. Oof. I don't know how okay I'd be with that one, but I'm glad you're tolerant of them. Poop around the house is a tall order to tolerate. And like that's the problem with cats. I never really had cats, and the thing is, if your dog has like bad habits or something, you can educate them. Dogs are very easy to teach. Like, I've never had to use anything more than my voice to kind of tell a dog what they are and aren't supposed to do and like correct bad behavior. But cats, there's nothing you can do. Like, there's absolutely nothing that you can do that they're going to like understand and stop doing a thing. So it's kind of a lottery, right? Like you adopt a cat, you don't know what's going to be like their personality, and if they suck, they just suck. And now you have a cat that sucks for 20 years. Or however, like most cats are not going to live that long, but that's like the maximum lifespan of a cat. So it's kind of a gambit that I've never been willing to make. But hey, Persona 5 is Persona 5, yeah, go for it. Seems really good, but I'm going to give it some more time. Play games that I have purchased legally. I was kind of giving them a chance to release it on PC eventually, since they released 4, but it doesn't sound like there's any plans for that. I mean, maybe some point down the line. If they released 4, they released the weird kind of beat 'em up thing based on P5 on Steam. And recently they released Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne on Steam for a ridiculously high price. It's a PS2 game, but it's as expensive as a brand new AAA title. But anyway, it's there. So maybe they're working their way up to Persona 5, but I'm not sure about that. For suits, it's good to just draw really long, not that curved lines. Gives it the kind of the sense of structure of a business suit. Again, I think I made his arms a little long in the original sketch, now looking at it. Now the perspective here is a little bit tricky. I feel like it shouldn't be that. More like this. Then his foot's like kinda going semi towards the viewer. No, it doesn't feel right. Should be more to the side. Yeah, I think it's okay. But the crossed legs on the rough sketch didn't really make any sense. Like when the legs just wasn't on top of the other. So it's more like this. Then the seam down the middle. Oh, business pants shouldn't go all the way to your shoe when you're cross-legged. Otherwise, you'd be stepping on them when you're standing. They should be considerably shorter, and you should see a lot of the sock. Kind of sucks because it disguises the perspective a little bit more, so I really have to get it right now, but accuracy about men's fashion, of course, is more important. Man, the capital city of my country sucks, it's so depressing. Oh yikes, I have never been. But yeah, I've also never been to the capital of Brazil, but I have no intention of it. It's really arid and hot. It was it's not like a historically important town. It was just built in the 70s to be the capital and to be like in the middle of the country. So it's like artificial. And yeah, it's supposed to be really dry and hot. So not interested. But yeah, I don't really know Santiago, right? I don't really know anything about it. It's like an old city. Santiago. Yeah, I don't really know anything about Santiago. Is it like a big city? Is it kind of old and European-ish, like Montevideo? I've been to Montevideo and to Buenos Aires, far as South American capitals. Neither of which would I say is like especially interesting place to go. Yeah, it's pretty much the starting building point from the Spanish colony here in Chile, makes sense. So isn't there even like interesting architecture or anything? Or is it just kind of decrepit? Because Buenos Aires is kind of, even the older stuff's kind of depressing, at least when I went. It was very not well preserved. It's in the middle of the country. No, everything sucks. Although, yeah, well, it's too bad. I think we were a capital that would be at least like a decent cultural scene, no? Like arts and all that. Cool churches, yeah, cool churches. One thing about being colonized by Catholics, at least you keep some cool churches. Yeah, but not really interesting. Oh well. Well, that sucks. I've drawn double-breasted suits so often, and I'm still always kind of insecure about these little cuts, where to put them. But the bottom part's going to be behind the book anyway, so I'm kind of putting more effort here than I really need to. It's located between mountains, pretty much a hole. It's full of smog. Oh no. Yeah, oof, that's kind of bad. I live in a low-lying town as well, so it's like very humid, and it can be kind of what's the word, foggy at times on winter. But you know, it's not like a capital with like a lot of like emissions, be it industry or automotive, so smog's not really something I have experienced, thankfully. Don't really feel the need to. There's actually something that's kind of good about making your capital not an important city. It just kind of disperses the like over concentration of people, because then like all the stuff that's on the capital, because it's the capital, can be in one city, and like the big production and stuff can be in another one. Like the capital of Brazil used to be Rio, like it was Salvador originally. Then it was Rio, and they say Rio was really bad to live in when it was both like an economic, like it's not the biggest town economic, São Paulo is, but it was pretty big, and also the political capital. There was just too much going on there. But now it's a little bit less concentrated. So I feel like that's a good idea. Not a lot of countries do that, I guess. I think the US kinda did it, but at this point I think Washington DC is already like a decently big economic hub as well. But Brasilia, which is the current capital, it's kind of so out of the way that it isn't that big of a city, even 40 years later. Just because it's the capital, it's still like it's big, but it's not that big. And then kind of erase this suit so it doesn't mess with the hand. And yeah, I think I'm just going to do is in a kind of I'm going to make it look like an animation frame. But the background is painted, but the characters are just simple ink lines, like straight up black with cell shading. This hand's weird. Let's make it a little bit more like this. Cool. Still have no idea how to actually draw hands, I just kind of mess with them until it looks right. There is no method to my madness. Yeah, this sort of looks like a hand, right? Boom. There you go, hand. So yeah, I believe I'm gonna do this more like this. I believe we have the not so rough sketches for both of our figures now. Blammo. I'm actually going to work on something else real quick. Just to kind of take a fresher look at it later. So I'm going to have to change the little text thing here. So this is the commissions ad that I'm working on now, and since the color sketch category is going to be brand new, I didn't really have something great to illustrate it with, so I just took this old headshot that I had from one of my villain characters, and I'm just going to expand it into like a torso. I just gotta get her reference up here for me. Ooh, I love how it looks. Thanks. Let me show you real quick her original thing. Boop. It's too big for this ad. Let me make it way smaller. Zoop. This is her original thing. You can see she has a very Toriyama inspired little vehicle thing. This is from when I was doing like villain concepts. Her thing is she has these orbs. She's standing on one and there's others, and they can change how much gravity affects them in factors of 2, including negative factors. So she weighs about as much as the big ones, so I don't know, she weighs half as much as the big one, so it's at minus half gravity, so she just kind of floats on it and can use the jet to move around. But here she's making it weigh 64 times normal to just crush what's under her. And yeah, the idea is that's just kind of a thief for hard to steal things. Just kind of a contractor who steals things that are difficult to steal using this technology. At a time I was just doing a bunch of different little character concepts. Just to work on it to be better at character design and just have some fun. I'm kind of still looking for a way to do that more, but these, like, they were getting no attention compared to the amount of time it took, so I'm probably going to have to find a format that's a little bit, it just works better time investment wise, because it was getting hard to justify working on these designs. It is kind of hard to justify working on anything that's not fan art or a commission. Because, you know, in terms of getting more audience, fan art is just so far and away the best thing. I know that some people manage to have like an audience for their original characters. But I don't know, it's really difficult to like pull off. Yeah. I'm really not retaining any viewers today. Every time I look up there, like, it goes to 2 and then back to 1 and then to 2 and then back to 1. Like, last time that happened was the time that I had gone on stream with no audio. And then I don't even know why the one person did stick around, but it kept going back down to 1. And I was like, oh, okay, so just people aren't sticking around today. And then, like, I was with no audio, so I'm thinking, like, could there be something wrong? But whatever could be wrong would be wrong for you too, so. I guess this time it's just normal. So I still have no idea for the prices. They're all 0 right now. But I guess I can show real quick the tiers that I have. So the idea is we have sketch cartoony, then sketch detailed, then color sketch cartoony, which I don't have a thing yet, color sketch detailed, full art, supposed to be full art cartoony, and then full art detailed. And then for others, I'm going to do stuff like the RPG combo, and I'll try to think of other like little like promotions where it's more than one piece or whatever. Pretty cool concept. I couldn't mention earlier because I was AFK, but it's awesome. Thanks. I don't know what AFK means. Yeah, I did a bunch of little character concepts, but didn't really pick up, I guess. I'm just going to paste her over and over a bunch of times just to grab her colors. Boop. Away from keyboard. Oh, didn't know that one. I'm going to make my brush a little easier to get to 100%. Actually, I think I'll start by doing it just always at 100%, and then I'll do shading with a softer brush. Right now, let's just set the areas. I'm being a bit careful about my process here and what I do, because whatever I do here, I'm kind of committing to doing on these kinds of commissions. Hey, I'll be watching again. What's up, Neon? Thanks for joining. I'm working on my next commission ad real quick, while just giving some time between sketch and final art on the commission that I am working on today. Oh, this is the wrong color. Not this, but this is the wrong color. Let me get her back here. It's supposed to be this. And let's also get the... what other color do we have? It's the basic orange then. Alright. Not sure if you mean by watching as just watching. Oh, cats are fighting, BRB. Okay. Yeah, my girlfriend's cats do also sometimes decide to fight. They've lived together forever, and they're not even like slightly friends. But they just kind of don't get along at all. It's too bad. Like, it's their lives that kind of suck because they're like living with someone they're enemies with, but okay. They cannot resolve their differences. Is this the right? What did I do? What? Oh, I was just flat out erasing it. I'm dumb. I am a dum-dum. Alright. Here you go. I thought it was too light. But yeah, her cats get in fights every once in a while. One will just decide to chase the other around. And one of them just gets into fights by herself. I don't know what her problem is. She just goes into crazy mode and starts running back and forth like she's fighting an invisible cat. I don't know if she's like hallucinating or something. But cats are weird. Like cats are buggy. They just don't work very well. The AI is all messed up. Like they get in fights for such stupid reasons. There's one of them that just walks with her tail in the air all the time, and the other one likes to lay down on a little stool thing. So that combination of factors leads to her walking with her tail in the other cat's face, which leads him to instinctively swipe at it, which leads her to like feel attacked and swipe back at him. So they get in a fight, and like that happens just regularly, just for no reason. Like they never meant to fight each other. It just the way they work just leads to it happening occasionally, based on their habits. The prophecy became true. There was poop on the floor. Oh no. Yeah, so Orlick was saying before that one of the cats sometimes runs after pooping and leaves poop on the floor, which I still don't really know how that works. Do they run out of the litter box so fast they bring poop along with them? Or do they run before they're done pooping and then poop along the way? I'm not sure which one is worse. I think the second one is worse. Yeah, I don't like either. And I'm really doing just some dumb stuff. I traded the light orange for dark orange before I had even used the light orange. Just not paying too much attention. Let me grab the light orange again. Alright. So yeah, I'm hoping basically that I'm going to do a lot more commissions on this tier, which will be the color sketch tier, and less on the full art one, because it's so much faster just not having to have the lines be nice and clean and not have to do all the details. You can just kind of imply details, like these zippers are just kind of wiggly lines, because you know it does 90% of the work of like drawing full zippers, but takes 5% as much time. I don't know, I only hear scratching noises from the litter box, see a cat running, and the next thing I see, Is poop on the floor. Yeah, that really sucks. And as I was saying earlier, like with cats, you know, if your cat does that, it's just kind of your life now. Like you're not going to be able to teach it not to do it. For some reason the other cat is mad. Well, cats are pretty tidy most of the time. They may be mad that there's poop on the ground. Like they don't like that. They don't like when other cats pee or whatever outside the litter box. They kind of try to clean it up and get upset. I should be the one that's mad. Yeah, that's valid. But yeah, cats are difficult. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Oh yeah, cat. Like I'd adopt a cat that I knew already, right? Like I am familiar with this cat. I know it's not a terrible cat, because otherwise you're just rolling the dice, and you can just end up with an awful cat. That's just going to be a pain forever. And you're never going to be able to get anything through its head. And I just don't like cats enough to like be tolerant of cats that do the kind of stuff, like throwing poop on the ground. Like some people are just so into cats, they like get over it and still think they're cute. I'm just going to be fed up with the cat and not want to look at it anymore. Like cool cats are cool. I like nice cats, but asshole cats, not interested. Like my one friend's cat that I was talking about, who they just had this constant need to be destroying everything. Like I couldn't leave my bag anywhere that the cat could access, because it would just scratch at it forever and can try to rip it apart. Oh, and it was also like constantly scratching and biting, for some reason, my sleeves. Like it wouldn't let go of my sleeves, so I couldn't really do things without like dragging a cat around. And you know, with a dog, you can just kind of yell at it and it will go away. With a cat, there's nothing there's nothing you can do that's going to dissuade the cat from annoying you. So now that we're here, I'm going to change my brush back and we're going to do shading. Ugh. And again, I have to do a level of shading that I'm willing to commit to doing. whenever I'm doing this tier of commissions. I'm probably still going to clean up the sketch a little bit more. But I'll leave it like basically finished now. Did you have other pets in the past? Yeah, but just dogs. In my family, just always had dogs. Like one of my grandmas had cats, so I was used to cats. But I actually wasn't used to like apartment cats. Like her cats lived like outside and would go in and out of the house and walk in the streets and stuff very naturally. So they weren't like, I was surprised when I encountered cats that people could like pick up, they just hold and like turn around and like mess with their bellies and stuff, because I was more used to like cats that weren't, like they were outside cats, I guess is the term. They weren't that domesticated and docile. But yeah, I was always more of a dog person. So yeah, I had a couple of labs and now there's a little one. But I like big dogs, definitely, my thing. Big dogs are just nice. They're just generally well behaved and calm, and you can teach them fine, and they're not like overly energetic, and they're friendly. My cats are cute and all, they're just not my thing as much. This could be darker. Boop, boop. Alrighty. So I'll do a little bit of a thing to make these styles look more like they have depth to them. Yeah, I want to leave the patterns as kind of sketchy because that's kind of the point of the sketch thing, that stuff like a little pattern can just be kind of implied without being super polished. And I'll figure out a background color for it later. Also some shading down here, give it volume. There you go. But yeah, pretty much done. I think we can go back to the other one. I had a fish at some point, but it was pretty frustrating because they randomly died for no reason. Water is perfect, food is perfect, companions are compatible, but no, they decided to die. Yeah, I gather fish are quite tricky to keep. I had a couple, I think, of fish as a kid, like those types of fish that they just kind of hand out somewhere, like in a little bag, like goldfish. And yeah, I think they died fairly soon too. But yeah, like it wasn't a whole setup. With like, you know, like I was little, so I don't remember, but I don't think anybody was like checking the pH of the water, or like whether it was sufficiently, like there was enough oxygen there. Like it's so tricky keeping fish. So here they are. We're back to the train. Let's work on some lines then. We're going into a more they're pretty though. Yeah, fish are nice looking. But yeah, there's a lot of upkeep because I don't feel responsible enough to like have the kind of pet that's really tricky to take care of. So let's put this at 5 opacity, this at 15. No, that's 5. 15. But I messed up. 15. What? Oh, I'm holding it wrong. There you go. Yeah, I think that's good. So just zoom all the way in now that we are. Why is everything weird? Alright. Now that we're comfortable with the sketch, I'm going to get a full black yoink, no, ink. Let's get a full black brush and get to work. Let's do 5 feels kinda thick. Let me check the whole thing. Nah, 5 is fine. It's not that big on screen. Need to pull up my references again, and here we go. Yeah. I feel like my commission prices are currently pretty good. Um, because whenever I have them open, I tend to get new orders roughly as fast as I finish older ones. So I want to keep general prices the same, just kinda shift it around to see if I can get the demand more towards color sketch and less towards full art. Even towards sketch itself, I lowered sketch a bunch last time, and I just can't seem to get a lot of sketch commissions. Which are the funnest ones to do. I'll keep tweaking it. I guess Suicide Squad came out today. I wonder if I can pirate it, because I don't want to go to a movie theater yet. Like, COVID situation isn't as good, and I don't think it's available for streaming anywhere. But I was kind of curious for it. Like, before the first Suicide Squad came out, that was like the superhero slash comics movie I was most looking forward to, because I always say they should make movies about that kind of fun, weirder idea. Because there are so many comics, they just have more interesting premises and like weirder stuff, and they keep making like a lot of hero origin story stuff. Like, you don't need to do that. There's so many weird comics that you can pick up, and Suicide Squad's a fun one. Just, you know, it's a wacky semi-comedy thing about a team of villains being kind of forced to do something vaguely good. But then it was like the worst movie ever. Like, I still had fun watching it because it was so stupid. I didn't think it was like a boring bad movie. It was definitely a funny bad movie. But with James Gunn, it could actually be good. So I'd be interested in it. I also like Birds of Prey, which is probably about the tone that they're going for. Do you have a favorite movie? I think so, yeah. I've thought about that before. I usually have kind of a hard time having a favorite anything. But I think my favorite movie is Blade Runner. Just in terms of, you know, the movie that you've watched a bunch of times and that you take like visual and thematic inspiration for and like you like stuff that's similar to it. Like it's not a super original idea, you know, it's kind of a basic answer, but I think it really is Blade Runner. The sequel is good, by the way. I don't think it is in the same league as the original, but it's also a pretty good movie. It's not offensive at all. Because with sequels to that kind of stuff, you're more worried than anything. Like, oh god, what are you going to do with it? But it was actually pretty good. Like, I also really like Alien. I think Ridley Scott's very good, especially that phase of Ridley Scott. Yeah, Blade Runner, I feel like it's a very... Like everybody's going to like that movie, right? I don't think there's a lot of people who don't like Blade Runner. Yeah, I really like the aesthetic. It's a good story well told. It's very technically good. The visual design is very good. The direction is very good. Pacing is very good. It's just very well made in every way. It is generally well acted despite starring Harrison Ford, which is quite a feat. Like, no shade, the guy is like likable, but he's not a very good actor. He tends to look very goofy, which works for some. Like, it's kind of surprising that he worked for Blade Runner, because like Indiana Jones and Star Wars are funnier movies, where his general goofy style, I don't know, just kind of fits more. But in Blade Runner he managed to pull off something more serious. Yeah, that's probably my favorite movie. I've thought about, when I was doing like the low profile thing under the stream, I thought about putting like favorite blanks just to, I don't know, almost as like a conversation starter sort of thing. But I'm not that, there aren't that many things that I'm confident like about my favorite. Like for a movie I'd put Blade Runner, for a game Super Metroid. But beyond that, it gets really muddy and I'm not that sure anymore. Oh, my favorite anime is Mob Psycho. I'm pretty sure about that one. Used to be Furikuri. But Mob Psycho kind of edged it out, and also like there's more of it. There's only 6 episodes of Furikuri, and there's 2 seasons of Mob Psycho, and it manages to be more uniformly good. And no, the Furikuri sequel series do not count. awesome. Yeah, those are some of my favorites. Like I like anime, but there aren't a lot of anime that I'd give like unconditional praise to. There's a lot of dumb stuff I like. I had a Fukuri obsession at some point. It's just so well made. It uses the visual language of anime so well, and the atmosphere is so good. The way it switches between rhythms is so good. The way it manages to like capture the energy of adolescence is just, it's a really really well made, well directed miniseries. Mob Psycho animation is one of the best out there. Yes, it looks absolutely amazing. I'm very impressed by how they managed to capture one's visual style, which is very simple and kind of openly not well drawn, and turn it into something really visually appealing. And like the moments with the psychic stuff, so well communicated. It's very good, and it's just such a good story, such good characters. Like, it was a very good idea when he decided to just kind of hand One Punch Man over to other people and kind of start over with Mob Psycho, because it's so much better and so much more mature. Like they took kind of the same basis and made something that's just a lot more genuine and mature and interesting and has so much more potential for growth than One Punch Man, which is very funny, but it's kind of a single joke, and there isn't. It's not that it doesn't have anything to say, but it isn't that much. Mob Psycho has a very good message, very well delivered. Yeah, in general, just all the characters are very... But there's a lot to them, they're very charming. Like, yeah, it's really impressive how much they got people to like Reigen. Like, considering, you know, that he's a professional charlatan. But also I really like the series kind of thesis, which is like anti-exceptionalism, which is kind of a lot of stories about people with powers and this kind of wish fulfillment stories of like the young shy guy has all this crazy power inside him, can go into a very unhealthy direction. The power just kind of allows them to lash out and dominate life and just gain all the kind of respect and regard that they feel like they don't get in life. And it's really cool how Mob's really not interested in that and views the villains. Like, the villains are kind of living the wish fulfillment fantasy that a lot of other superhero stories kind of traffic in, and Mob just really looks down on that, is not very interested in it, and he just wants to be like a genuinely good person, and seems to find the villains very mediocre for striving for that kind of needy affirmation about being the best, the most powerful, showing the world all their crazy potential. So I don't know, I really like that message, and I feel like they did it very well with very interesting and likable characters. And it also looks great. So it pretty much, you know, tends across the board. You know, I also like stupid stuff. I like Gurren Lagann a lot. It also looks very beautiful. It has like the very basic, very like cathartic, wish fulfillment kind of anime thing, very even self-consciously. And it's so goofy and indulgent, but it's great. What else? I've been watching I still have to watch Gurren Lagann. I'll definitely recommend it. Like, it has every like silly anime thing, but basically it does more in terms of like progressing, like that arc of power that shonen anime do, and like escalating like the size of the conflict and the stakes. It does more than the entire run of Dragon Ball in terms of like that escalation in 24 episodes, and it just concludes and completely ends. Like, it's a good tight package. And it's silly, and I know it has all the like silly fan service and stuff like that, so you have to have some tolerance for weeb stuff, but it's very well done and very like joyful silliness. What else? And it's Trigger, so it's very well animated. Oh yeah, I was saying I like to watch Space Dundee too. So, Cowboy Bebop, definitely one of my favorites. Samurai Champloo is very good. The director guy, I forget his name, but he's very good and I like his work. So, right when Space Dundee came out, Space Dundee came out, I was like, yeah, definitely gonna watch this. And people were saying it was really good, so I was ready to enjoy it, and I did not at all. I just didn't like it. Anime comedy is very hit or miss for me, which with a lot more miss than hit. I like some stuff, but a lot of it I find thoroughly unfunny. And unfortunately, Space Dundee is a lot more comedic than his previous work, and it definitely fell on that side for me, where it just wasn't my thing. I'm thinking of making a big change here. I'm going to try something out. But yeah, maybe you like it. It's very much like a personal taste thing and not a general quality thing. People like it, but it just wasn't my thing. So I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, like I gave it a fair shake. And it just not my thing. Yeah, I also didn't know, like it definitely looked like it had a sense of humor, but you wouldn't be able to tell, like that's mainly a comedy, but it really, at least the first few episodes, are mainly a comedy, and I just did not find it funny, so not much left there. And there's nothing worse than a comedy that you don't find funny, and it's just the worst thing to watch. There are anime comedies I like. Space Dundee, just not one of them. Did you watch Trigun? I watched some Trigun, and it was a fairly long time ago. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many episodes at this point. Probably like 20. I enjoyed it. I like the 90ness of it. But yeah, I guess I just never got that far into it. But I like it. So yeah, as I was going to say, my favorite anime as a kid was Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X, and I was watching the movies with my girlfriend, and I actually just really feel like revisiting the anime now. And Trigun is very similar in a way to that. But so yeah, we seem to have pretty similar tastes in like anime and stuff. Yeah, I really liked it. I wonder how well it aged. But anyway, Trigun, like Vash, is very similar to Kenshin, at least as far as I went. Like, he's the guy who got really good at combat and stuff, but right now he doesn't want to kill anyone anymore, and he has this kind of like silly, unassuming attitude, but when he wants to go into like badass mode, he can. They're very similar. So I'd probably like that too, because I do really like Kenshin. I like that kind of hero. I didn't watch the OVAs, I just watched OVAs, I guess. I just used to say OVAs, but I think I hear people only say OVAs. Anyway, didn't watch any of them. I hear good things, but I also heard good things about the movies. So I was watching the movies recently. I watched the 3 first ones. Then there's like a prequel and then a final one, which I'm not sure if we're going to watch. I'm actually kind of lobbying for us watching the anime right now. Might watch today. I'm going over there not that long after the stream, so maybe we'll watch some Kenshin. I want to know how well it aged. I was also recently rewatching Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, but I was watching when I had no internet because I found an old hard drive where I still had it all downloaded. So it's kind of the thing that I can watch when the internet's down. So I'm kind of saving it for those occasions. Anyway, I want to rewatch it to confirm my opinion. And this may be where we stop agreeing, because I'm definitely in the minority on this one. But I think Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 is way better than Brotherhood. I don't care about the manga. I didn't read the manga, I just watched both animes. And while both get worse toward the end, at least Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 starts really strong. And I prefer its ending, because in the start of Fullmetal Alchemist, both of them, like, there's a lot of consequences to stuff and loss, and like, it's a kind of a darker story. And the manga / Brotherhood becomes very shonen in the end. Nothing bad ever happens again, nothing dark ever happens again. In the ending, like, everybody's happy ever after. Like, there's just, the ending's really stupid. Like, I'm not going to spoil it if anybody's watching who doesn't know the ending of Brotherhood, but like the conclusion to the main conflict of All and Ed getting their bodies back is just really dumb. Just a really dumb way to get everybody to get everything they wanted with no consequences and no loss. I just really didn't like that. And I just thought in general, for a good chunk near the end, it got very shonen, with just very battle focused, without that much that was interesting. And I also found out that a lot of my favorite stuff, I guess, was anime exclusive, because it isn't in Brotherhood. A lot of good early episodes were just not in Brotherhood, so I don't know if they cut it for time or if they weren't in the manga, because if they weren't in the manga, then the anime people actually had some pretty good ideas, because there's some really good early stuff that just wasn't in Brotherhood. Not only, late stuff, when it completely changes. But yeah, that's just me, because most people seem to prefer Brotherhood. I like both, but 2003 aesthetic was incredibly early 2000s thing, the music and stuff, the way they made the desert look 2003 was so cool. Yeah, it's just so much better shot. I saw like this completely, way back on Tumblr, I saw this completely neutral thing that like wasn't casting any judgment. It was just comparing scenes in the manga, the 2003 anime, and Brotherhood. And like, you know, in manga, when you have someone talking, it often makes sense. Like, there's a scene of someone talking, like, just one I remember was early on when Ed's reading the components of a human body on the bench. So the manga was just like him, like here in a really neutral position on the edge of the screen, because most of it was like a speech balloon, but the text was, and he was in a really neutral position. And then they show, like, in 2003, they completely reworked the scene to be in a 4:3 ratio, so he had like this low angle to make him look like he felt really superior, and he had his legs crossed to really fill the screen and make him look like kind of smug doing it, and laid back with his hand like over the face, and it was like shaded well, so he stood out. So it was this really good, well composed shot. And then in Brotherhood, they had like a thing, and it was like the same pose from the manga with him talking, and it was like completely neutral and boring, and him just kind of standing, seen from the side in the middle of the shot, which, like, it made sense for the manga, where you're mainly preoccupied with fitting the text and making clear who is saying it. But like in terms of photography, for like a visual, like, motion production, it was just really boring. They just did such a bad job, and the whole early arcs that were in the other anime, I guess they didn't want to waste time with it, so it was just ridiculously rushed. In 2010 version, everything looks desaturated. The reaction of Edward to the things that happened the first half of the story was very awesome too. We could get attached to him. Yeah, I don't know, desaturated is the right thing. I guess it is a little bit desaturated. They also do this thing where the lines aren't black anymore. They're just a darker shade. So everything looks a little bit more low contrast as well. But yeah, my main problem is with how it's shot. It's really boringly shot. The scene composition is it feels very like weakly shonen. It feels rushed. Like, you know how like a movie will have really elaborate scene composition and be shot more interestingly, but TV shows are shot in a very standard way that's very fast to film. So there's like the shot counter shot, like this shot you see a lot in TV shows, where there's one person talking and there's kind of the back of the head of the other person, they're here, and then they switch between angles where each person's in front. There's a really boring way to convey a conversation, but it's very easy and fast to film. You just put two cameras in a 45-degree angle from each other, have each say the lines a bunch of times. It's very easy to paste it together, like cut together a good version of the line from both characters, and just have it done. So it's not done because it's good, it's done because it's fast and reliable. That also exists in animation, you know, using really simple shots that are easier to draw, just taking composition straight from the manga, which, you know, isn't optimized from the same medium, but it's already there, so you just kind of copy it. That shows up a lot in shonen, like Dragon Ball is just kind of made of that. Brotherhood feels like it suffers from that a lot, while 2003 was a lot more cinematic. So I overall just like it a lot better. I remember it also decreasing a lot in quality in the second half. Like when they were working without the manga, just writing their own story, it also kind of falls apart. But weirdly, the author herself also didn't have a good conclusion for the story, and it seemingly started falling apart for her at around the same point in the story. Like the part that I was looking forward towards being better in Brotherhood wasn't really better. It was just kind of different. It also wasn't any good, and I kind of like the Brotherhood, the original, the 2003 one better. Like, it was more of a mess, but it kept the little bit darker tone, didn't turn that much into a typical shonen. The 2010, he was only a prick, I guess. It didn't make scenes that made him like him and relate to character. 2003, that I didn't notice as much, perhaps because it's really hard to judge that since you already have an idea of him from the 2003 version. So maybe I didn't notice it as much. But yeah, I can imagine that because it's so rushed. Like, they go through major development on the early story so fast. It feels like you're fast forwarding. Like Full Metal Alchemist, but every time they say transmutation, it gets faster. You know, it just zooms by, and then because I think they wanted to get to the part that wasn't the same as fast as possible. But at that point, just like take the first couple of seasons of the original anime, change stuff and all, you know, keep the change stuff. Most of it was actually really good. Like, I really like the early episode with the alchemist guy who was making dolls who looked like his lost love, but she was still around. Like, she came back, but she was older and he didn't even recognize her because he was so obsessed with how beautiful she was when she was young. Like, that was always one of my favorite episodes, and it's apparently original from the 2003 anime. Like, keep that stuff. Just do a high def, like rescan the cells, like expand the ones you need for it to like fit into 16:9 because the 2010 series was widescreen. Just do that, rephotograph it in HD, and from the point when it gets like really different, then you can start making your own thing. I feel like that would have been a lot better, and then they could spend more time on like the newer stuff and make it look good and not really rushed. But anyway, I still probably wouldn't like it that much because I just don't like the ending that much. There are a few really good characters that you kind of wish were in the original, like in the 2003 anime. But I don't know, I don't miss them that much. I feel like most of the good characters are early on too. Like Greed, being in a lot of it, like Greed is a really good character. People are like, oh, Greed is so good, I'm glad he's in so much of Brotherhood. But yeah, I also really like Greed, but his character was fully explored, in my opinion, in as much as appears in the 2003 anime. And I think they kind of overdo it to the point where he isn't bad at all. Like, he's completely good. Like, the thesis of the 2003 anime seems to be like that, like liking your friends qualifies as greed. So he likes his friends, so he's still greed, but you know, at this point being, he's greedy exclusively to the point where it's a virtue and not a vice. That's kind of weird. Also love the intro of Conqueror of Shambhala. The intro of Conqueror of Shambhala is very good, yes. The rest of it, it's kinda terrible. Like, as much crap as I'm talking about the ending of Brotherhood, like, Conqueror of Shambhala is worse. It's so poorly written. Like, the villains are just Saturday morning cartoon cackling evil. Like, all sense of nuance from the series is completely gone. Like, I don't know what happened to them. But it has some really good... the start of the movie is really good. It has some really good visuals and audio. Like, it's still shot very well. But yikes, the script sucks. The script is very, very bad. the whole idea from the end of the other one, where like they're drawing the ability to do alchemy from a parallel world, which is like the real world. Like, that's really stupid. I don't know where they got that idea. But, you know, it doesn't hurt it that much. At least in the end, there's still some sacrifice to it. When Ed has to go to the other world in order to give Al his body back. Like, character arc-wise, it works. It's just kind of really weird lore. And then, like, deciding to make a movie where Ed's in the real world, which is kinda the real world, but not fully. It's just, what are you doing? Very odd idea for a movie. I'm not sure about her bangs. I'm going to leave them for later because I might just rework them. But yeah, what are some of my other... It's like Majora's Mask reused assets. yeah. I kinda like that. That's goofy. That's very comic booky. Like the alternate world version of people. That's fun. But such weird lore. I remember like watching when they explained that stuff about the other world in the region. I was like, what's this? Like, what's this about? It's so weirdly dumb. But it's fine. There are good aspects compared to Shambhala, but generally like the villains and the plot's so bad. Only difference that I love Majora's Mask. Yeah, Majora's Mask is very good. But I'm all for alternate worlds. Alternate worlds with like the same characters but X-theme changes. Like, that's some fun nerdy stuff. I'm always down for that. I'm thinking if I'll just... I think I'll just close it for now. Gonna give myself a break. Gonna take a fresh look at this. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll take a look at the VOD later to see how the audio is looking. But yeah, I think I'm going to close it for now, and not really enough people to like justify a raid. So I'm just gonna log off. Thanks again. See you guys next time.